this movie definitely is going to get some very polarizing reactions. But then I don't really think Sandeep Reddy Vanga gives a damn. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, guys. And after watching Animal, I can finally say that Sandeep Reddy Vanga definitely delivered on his promise when he said that I will show you what real violence is if you are not fan of a violent film, sit this one out. Now, as per me, there are many things that works in the favor of the film, but there are quite a few things which absolutely do not. Now, I want to start with mentioning the performances first. Usually I keep it for the last, but here I definitely want to mention it before, because Ranbir Kapoor has just knocked it out of the park. The portrayal of a trauma-ridden son who wants nothing but the validation from his father and feels all his actions, however violent, are justified for the overall protection of the family is truly something to marvel at. Ranbir has always kind of nailed the emotional scenes for me, so I knew that he would be really able to justify this kind of performance. But where I was actually surprised are the action and the gory scenes. Like the dominance and the body language he exuded in those scenes, he really got into the skin of the character. You can just see with his performance that he has completely, like 500%, he's completely surrendered to the director's vision. Whether you end up liking the film or whether you end up hating the film, but Ranbir Kapoor's performance is something that will truly stay with you. Anil Kapoor is fantastic as well, though I feel his character wasn't fleshed out properly, but we will discuss that in the writing later. Whatever material was given to him, Anil Kapoor was absolutely fabulous in his performance, and he's a very seasoned actor, so nailing a role like this, I know, would have been a cakewalk for him. I think I feel the most disappointed with Bobby in the sense that he did not get enough screen time, and he totally deserved it. And not only because how he performed well in his limited role, but his character itself was of that significance. His character is so freaking pivotal to the storyline. It was a little disappointing how it was fleshed out, to be honest, because just those little cameos in the trailer when I had watched got me really excited to see Bobby Deol in this role. And whatever screen time he got, he was really dominating the screen. The only miscast in performance for me here is Rashmika. She definitely has her moments. There are a couple of sequences where her acting really shines through, but it is the dialogue delivery that I have a problem with. There were a couple of instances where I had to really concentrate and listen because I was not able to understand what she was saying. That particular scene where she got trolled in the trailer, there is a scene for which she got like brutally trolled, which is not fair, which is not a great thing. But that is the actual sequence where she completely steals the spotlight. So yes, barring certain moments here and there, and when you compare all the other supporting cast, the main cast giving such amazing performances, Rashmika's performance falls a little short. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the technical aspect. The BGM of the film is fabulous, and it really helps elevate a lot of scenes. The incorporation of the songs is also quite good, but I was a little disappointed with the sound design. There are instances in the film where the audio of the BGM is a little bit higher than the audio of the dialogue. That made a tad bit difficult to, really grasp what the actors were saying, because the movie, yes, it's violent heavy, but it's also dialogue heavy. For those who have watched the film, please let me know if you faced a similar issue or not. Also, did your screening have subtitles or not? Because there is a good chunk of the film where the dialogues are spoken in Punjabi. So, of course, you get the gist, but what exactly is that dialogue? I wish there were subtitles provided for that. Coming to the editing, the film is edited in a non-linear pattern. Now, for some people, that could become a tad bit confusing because the events are stacked up in a haphazard way. But honestly, personally for me, I did not find the flow of the story confusing. Challenge with non-linear editing is that for a lot of people, it kind of breaks the flow of the storytelling, and a lot of people prefer the linear style of storytelling. But in this movie, obviously it could have been, said in a much linear pattern, but Sandeep Reddy Vanga chose to edit it out in a kind of different way, probably to make it, look and feel more edgy. Now, the running length of the film is 3.5 hours. Now, there are certain dips in the film that happen, but that's not because of the edit or the pacing. It actually is because of the writing. The next thing that I want to talk about is the action and the violence of the film, because that forms a very integral part of the storytelling. If you hate seeing blood and gore, definitely do not go for this movie. Now, when it comes to particularly setting up an action scene, I feel that the interval block sequence was the highlight point of the film. It has been established, choreographed, and shot really well. Like, by the time the interval block happens, it just leaves you in that adrenaline high because of that intense violence and action. Now, a lot of people could be disappointed with the climax action because, usually the best action set piece is kept for the end, and that's the face off that you watch also in the trailer between Ranbir Kapoor and Bobby Deol. Now, why I say that, a chunk of audiences can be disappointed with it is because it's not as intense, but there is not much technicality in that action. It feels very raw and animalistic and very primal, and I think that was the intention of it. It was never meant to look technical and sleek in the climactic sequence, because there is more emotion than technique in that entire sequence. So in the realm of storytelling, it completely makes sense, but if somebody was waiting for this larger than life final action sequence, then yes, those people will definitely be a little bit disappointed. Now, last but not the least, the writing and the direction by Sandeep Reddy Vanga. He basically is saying with this film, take it or leave it. This is what it is. He pretty much doesn't care. He's not here to please anybody. But that kind of sometimes works in the favor of the film, and a lot of times it does not, because I feel that in the mission of trying to prove a point and showing the middle finger to the critics, Sandeep Reddy Vanga has incorporated certain scenes and dialogues which was completely unnecessary. When you watch the film, you will understand that, oh, this seems a little bit forced, because it really does not add or subtract anything from the main plot. It is just there to trigger you, it is just there for the shock value. The biggest letdown for me on the writing was the actual core of the film, which is the father-son relationship. Because when I had watched the trailer, in my head I was like, oh, Ranbir Kapoor's character is totally traumatized because he had to endure so much because of the father-son relationship. But that does not get explored enough. I really wanted more scenes between Ranbir Kapoor and Anil Kapoor, like the Michael Jackson scene which is there in the trailer. That has a lot of impact, but I feel that we needed more of those scenes to really establish the broken relationship between these two. It is just said in passing dialogues that, oh, Ranbir Kapoor's character, which is Ran Vijay, he has gotten bullied because his father is so rich. He has always waited, been patient and waited so that he could take his revenge when he was bullied in school. But we never get to see this kind of trauma enough. I would have loved to see the entire evolution of this relationship, but we just get it in bits and pieces. The focus goes more on Ranbir's animalistic behavior, which again doesn't have a concrete establishment, because we are told as audience that Ranbir and Rashmika, they were very happy and very well settled for 8 odd years in US, and he's just sad that his father never kept in touch with him. But in those years where he was in the US, yes, we know that Ranbir's character is the alpha male. But then why is he so good at combat? Why he is so amazing? Why he has this much rage? All of that I needed more. From the trauma perspective, I understand that Ranveer is extremely like devoid of his father's love. But why has he become a psychopath? That never truly gets established. The trigger for that psychopathic behavior is not really justified in the writing, for me at least. I think if Sandeep Reddy Vanga had spent like more time sort of exploring that relationship in depth, and also not just the father son, even the son and mother. The mother is completely inconsequential in the story, because I feel that a child's behavior is a culmination of both the parents' affection or lack of affection for that matter. So I feel that if the director had not wasted time in the dialogues talking about pubic hair, and rather spent investing in this backstory, in the family dynamics, it would have been better. Another aspect of the writing which could have been avoided is the entire Tripti Dimri subplot. Instead of that, I would have wanted more backstory on Bobby Deol's side of the family, because this entire thing of the Swastik Steel factory, the family dynamics, with between the brothers, that could have been explored more. That would have established Bobby Deol's character in a much stronger way. The entire family history is just spent in like one scene with couple of dialogues. If you had shown that visually, I feel Bobby Deol would have gotten more screen time and we would have felt more connected with that character. I was surprised why so much screen time was spent in Tripti's plot, because the entire family history could have been revealed in a different way altogether. Also, in the end, what was Rashmika's fault in all of this? Like, fine, her husband has all these animalistic instincts and behavior, but your wife has done nothing but been loyal to you, has done nothing but dedicate her life to you. And when I had done the trailer reaction, I specifically said I want to see what consequences Ranbir's character faces, because he's behaving in a certain way. Does he face any consequence? He kind of does, but I feel it's not enough. Also, I would have loved to see some involvement of the police in this entire storyline. Like it seemed like the police just does not exist. In fact, if in the film it was shown that the police are not doing their job, and that is when Ranbir Kapoor is like, no, I have to take matters in my own hand to protect my father, it would have still made sense. So yes, for me the movie really dips in certain moments because of how the story is flowing, and the writing was kind of all over the place at certain parts. But that gets compensated because of really, really stellar performances. In the end, this film might trigger you, it might not trigger you. But Sandeep Rendivanga does not give a fuck. He's absolutely unapologetic and raw when it came to narrating this film. But I wish the writing was a tad bit better. So, yeah, that was my review of Animal. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with that, I will end this video here, and I'll see you soon on my next one. Bye.